we're going to go stateside now to the MLS, where it's the off season there, much like Japan. It's the off season, but there's still plenty going on, especially on the East Coast in New York City, where there's a new team in town.
Yeah,
and they've just played their first game. So first game, big match, massive
Real
moment.
Madrid, maybe Man United.
A classic team, a world power of football.
Somewhere in Dubai, definitely.
Yeah.
Cash money, it's got to be there, right?
Well, possibly. I mean, it's the same sort of bracket, but if I was to say St Mirren, Scotland's finest St Mirren.
Why not? Why was that?
I don't know.
I haven't been able to dig into why that is. There's some sort of connection there. I know that they trained, obviously their parent club is Manchester City, and I know that they trained there.
They played the game there as well. They played the game at like a City training academy against St Mirren.
Must be some sort of club links or something like that. But
I don't know.
They won.
First game in history.
2-0.
David Villa, marquee player, and he scored the first goal in their history.
It's a pretty good player to get the ball rolling, isn't it? A World Cup winner. Nice.
That's what you'd want. So they're off up and running. So 1-2-0. I think they've only had 15 training sessions together. But the manager, Jason Kreis, talking tough. I mean, he was installed a little while ago. Actually, I think he has been there. Was it all of last season? He's been there for a while, kind of.
He's just been in an office, just sort of getting prepared. It's kind of like when you move to the other end of the country, but your family can't move down just yet. Maybe your wife's still like working, seeing out a contract, but you're like getting all the office sorted out and everything like that, getting the garden ready, getting the cot ready, painting the room. Well, and now finally they're coming.
The family are here. They're all here. They're still working out the house and where everything goes, and there's still lots of stuff in boxes in the attic. But
the cutlery, everyone knows where it is now.
Exactly, and you've got a table and chairs to sit at.
Keep moving.
Hey, you started that.
Okay.
So Jason Kreis, he's in now, and he's kind of talking tough, saying priority is gel as fast as possible, then start playing the sort of football they want to be playing, and they're talking, big talk. They want to hit the ground running, and why not?
Well, what the remarkable thing is, it's hard to conceive just how big a buzz the team are getting for a team that have not kicked a ball.
It's a team that's just started existing.
Like, they don't really exist yet. We were just saying off air, 13,500 season tickets they've got already, and that's something like, I think that's third or fourth in terms of the MLS. Selling season tickets, and
they've never played a competitive game.
I guess it's a pretty big sweet spot which they're hitting, which is New York, and indeed Manhattan. So the first time they've ever had, well, certainly in the recent era, to actually have a club to call their own. Because
the Red Bulls are based in New Jersey, aren't they? So they're a little bit kind of outside, which I think in a way also fuels that rivalry, which is what you want from sort of a crosstown rival. So they're going to, have the New Jersey boys, the Manhattan boys, and hopefully they'll all get along. But healthy rivalry.
Plenty there. They're very good on social media as well.
Well, I think that's a product of Man City. Man City, I think, is sort of notoriously good at
crosses over
little videos and vines.
It just shows you how important it is that they can build such a momentum and a buzz just through social media.
I still find it bizarre the fact that they've got like a parent club and they play in Man City blue. And
are you a bit uncomfortable?
It's just all a bit weird. Like, I don't know, this footballing empire. I'm sure it'll become. I know that other teams do kind of do it or have sort of feeder clubs, so to speak. But it's very strange to have a club that's just been created and it's so closely tied to the parent clubs. The fact where they play their first game, their training complex.
Yeah, I mean it's probably a story for another day, but it doesn't really stop there, does it, for Man City in terms of their roots? Because is it
Melbourne City, and then they've got a team in Japan as well, and it's growing definitely.
That's quite the empire. Well, that's a little bit murky, but let's talk about something fresh and exciting. This came to our attention, and a Guardian article actually highlighted them. This player who played very well against St Mirren in his. Well, it's pretty hard to play any better games against.
I mean, that is the acid test, isn't it?
You've got one shot. You've got one shot at it. And what's his name? Kwadwo Poku, MLS's answer to Yaya Toure, apparently, because he's got all those characteristics. Anchors the midfield,
quite
strong,
deep lying,
big stride, and I don't know, slightly languid. It was hinted at as well. So that is all the credentials you need for a lazy Yaya Toure comparison. That's good enough. But there's some interesting things about him. Firstly, he was from, he's Ghanaian, and the actual academy he came from was the same academy as Tony Yeboah. How good is that?
That isn't pedigree.
How good is that?
I don't know what is.
I just imagine them just no sort of like passing training or anything like that, just like balls bouncing up 35 yards out, and you just got to crack it against the crossbar.
And it doesn't count if it goes straight in.
Yeah, if it hits the crossbar, that's good.
It has to hit the bar before it goes in.
So we like that. We're also of interest about him, and we always put our hands up on this. We're learning about the characteristics and idiosyncrasies to MLS, and one of them is something called the discovery claim. So a lot of clubs. So he was fantastic in the sort of college really level, weird. Wasn't he? He played a lot. He had some great performances in the US. Is it the Open? What was it?
US Open Cup.
US Open Cup. He had some great performances in that, which really caught the eye of the bigger MLS clubs. And there was all of a sudden a bit of a scramble.
Well, he was at a club, I think, in the National Pro League, and then from there he went to Nazle, which is the sort of the league below MLS.
Unofficial second tier.
I think he played well against a team that eventually signed him, the Silverbacks, I think.
Good name.
The Atlanta Silverbacks.
Yeah. Yes.
Something along those lines.
I just want to see their. I want to see their logo.
But anyway, so he signed for them, and then he played his part in a couple of games that knocked MLS sides out, including Real Salt Lake, I think. Had a couple of big games, and then that's when people really started to take.
What do you think the discovery claim is then? So apparently that gives you an edge when it comes to actually signing a rookie.
Yeah, I think it's if you
get them on the books.
If you discover them,
so it doesn't go to draft.
I think you've got dibs on them.
Just like, no, I found it first. It's all very immature.
Well, and the thing is, there was that kind of thing between Seattle and New York. They both put in discovery claims. It was whoever could get it in
What
first.
does it look like? Do you think it was like laminated, little card? Where did you
post
post
with
it?
a little like question mark on it or something.
Astonishing.
I don't know,
well,
but then I'm not sure who actually got the claim in first. But then New York had to. This is another thing I find bizarre. So to get the player, they had to trade a 2017 draft pick with Seattle to get him. So
it's a bit like Monopoly then, isn't it?
Yeah, so they're given a trade in 2 years' time, but they get the player now.
That's amazing that they can have that flexibility to do that.
I don't really know.
Astonishing.
It's all like trading.
Anyway, obviously David Villa is a big name, but this chap is someone to keep our eye on as well.